right, everybody, I'm gonna be doing a very quick, simple, homemade tortilla recipe. And you just need a couple of ingredients. A half a cup of water, some flour, and you'll know the amount that I'm talking about once I go into it, because there's not really a set amount. It's just a matter of how you feel, how it feels once it's right. And then half a stick of butter, okay? I know that seems like a lot of butter, but if you like to use lard, you can use lard, but I just like to use butter because to me it tastes better, okay? The first thing you're gonna do is you're going to put the water into the bowl, and then you're going to put, about just a little bit of flour, like maybe a third, I guess that's a third of a cup or a quarter cup. And then you're gonna mix it until it's kind of a very, very, very wet solution, and all of the flour has been incorporated. And this is kind of what you're looking at right here, okay? So you just mix until it gets well incorporated, and then you do it again. Just that much, and then you do it again. This time it's gonna be a little bit thicker, but it's gonna loosen up. And at this point in this stage, all you're doing is just incorporating that flour, making sure it's well incorporated, that there are no lumps. And this is basically what it looks like here. Okay, it's kind of a very thick, mix, flour, water mix. All right, so that's pretty good. It's pretty well incorporated. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to not use this anymore. I'm gonna get another little mixture here. Now you can make as many or as little tortillas as you want. This is just a cup. This is only make a couple of tortillas. But now that I've done that, I add 2 more, and then I'm just gonna barely mix it. I did say I wasn't gonna use that anymore, but I am gonna use it. And this is what's gonna happen. What's happening is I'm getting you don't want the flour to incorporate into the water too quickly, because then it becomes too hard. So just gonna gently mix that around, kind of get that off of there. Gently mix that around. You don't want it to happen too quickly, because like I said, it gets too hard. So you're just gonna let that kind of easily soak up that water, that moisture. And it's gonna kind of look like that, you know, like bits and pieces all over the place. But that's okay, that's a good sign. And kind of clean your hands off and make sure you get all of the flour off the bottom. Kind of rub your fingers around and get all that flour off the bottom. That's good, like that. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna pour it out on the table, just like that, just like that. And then this is where you incorporate the butter. Just stick it right there, and you're gonna mash that butter into that. And you're gonna just kind of slowly incorporate the dough and the butter. And, you know, slow and easy. And you're gonna get some more of that flour and water mix. And right now the dough is pretty soft. I don't want to go too fast, or I think it's a little bit harder than I wanted it to be, but this is a good example, because this is probably what your dough is going to look like the first time you do this. And what you're doing is you're just incorporating all of the stuff. Okay, and you see how when I press on it, it kind of shrinks back? You probably can't see that on the camera, but that's a good sign too. That's because the flour has gluten in it, and that gluten is like protein, or it is a protein actually. And what happens is when you reanimate it with water, it contracts. It gets real tough to work with. So I'm gonna actually sprinkle some more flour on it, and then that way it's gonna be easier to work with. And this is getting nice and soft. And that's where we want it. We want it nice and soft and malleable. So what we're doing here, oh yeah, that's good stuff. What we're doing is a lot of recipes call to let the dough rest, but we're not gonna let this dough rest. We're gonna put it right on the pan, right on the frying pan. And that butter is getting well incorporated into the dough. And the butter actually has a little bit of water in it as well. Oh yeah, that's feeling nice and soft. And you're just gonna knead it like this. And you probably wanna do this for about 10 minutes. And when it gets a little too sticky, then you just incorporate some more flour. Just kind of roll it in the flour. Oh yes. So that is the consistency that you want. It's this very, very soft dough. The softer. Now you don't want it where it's too soft, where it's kind of like not manageable. But you know you're doing a good job when it's just soft enough to where it's holding itself together. I'm gonna just get up all this flour here. But you can just pinch it, and you don't have to try very hard to get it to do what you want it to do. Now this is almost ready. Almost ready. As you're kneading and incorporating more flour, it's mixing and doing what it's supposed to do. And so this is good too, this motion here, this is good. And let's get a little bit more flour on here. Just sprinkle it on. And then you're gonna get that flour on there. Oh yeah, that's perfect. Look at that. Oh man, that's beautiful. Now you could actually do a lot of things with this. If you added a little bit of sugar, just almost no sugar at all. Maybe like a teaspoon of sugar, or maybe a half a teaspoon. Then you could turn this into a pizza dough. Salt and sugar, a little bit of salt, a little bit of sugar. You could turn this into a pizza dough. There are recipes online, and basically that's all pizza dough is just flour, water, yeast, salt, and sugar. But this is just, oh, it's just beautiful. It feels so good in the hand. Feels nice and soft. And I'm gonna be kneading this for a few more minutes. And this is what I'm doing, is I'm just kind of folding it toward me and then pushing it out, and then this little piece comes out and you fold it in, and then you fold it towards you and you knead it out. And fold it toward you, push out like this. You can do it however you want. You can do it this way, kind of turn it a little bit if you want. Really, it's just a matter of incorporating all of the flour and the water and the butter. Now, some folks put salt in their tortilla mix, and baking soda and all that kind of makes it rise, and the baking soda makes it kind of rise, and the salt gives it a little bit of flavor. But you don't need any of that stuff, any of that fancy stuff. All you need, just some flour, a little bit of water. Oh, look at that, just very soft. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go and get my scale, and I'm gonna weigh this out to about 50 grams each, 50 to 60 grams each. Tortilla is gonna be about that much. We're probably gonna get about 4 tortillas, 4.5 maybe. And so anyway, we'll be right back. Okay, so actually I underestimated how many it was gonna make. It actually is gonna make 7 tortillas, okay? So first, what you do is you just get a little bit of flour, you kind of spread it out, and you make it into a ball. You kind of make it into a little ball. And then what you do is you just kind of flatten it out a little bit, just a little bit, and you just keep it going like this, okay? And then you kind of flip it over and then turn it sideways as well. And then you do it again. And then you kind of get some flour on it because it's gonna be a little sticky. And you just kind of slowly roll it out. And what I'm doing is I'm taking it, I'm flipping it over, and then I'm flipping it sideways. Okay. And again. Okay. And then again. All right, look at that. And that, my friends, is a tortilla. And we're gonna cook them in just a minute or two once they get them all kind of, so you want to just kind of turn it into a ball like this, and then you just press on it. You slowly roll it back and forth, and then you kind of get some flour on the other side, right? And you just kind of slowly roll back and forth to kind of give it a little bit of shape. Then you flip it and turn it. And you roll it again, flip it and turn it. Now, you know, notice how when I was telling you how to make them, that I was telling you to make sure that the dough is nice and soft. And the reason for that is for this reason right here. A lot of people, they make the dough too hard. And when you make the dough too hard, it hasn't had time to relax. This dough is so soft that it doesn't need the resting period to relax. The gluten doesn't need to relax because of how soft we made that dough. And I'll just roll it up one more time in this way. And look at that, perfect. So now, I'm like, oops, I should have done this, but that's okay. Trial and error, right? Okay, so I'm gonna put some wax paper on top of that so it doesn't dry out, but then I can get it off real easy. And then we're gonna get this one, we're gonna get a little bit of flour. Whoops, a little more than that. Okay. And then we're gonna make sure this is a little ball. And then we're just gonna press down, roll it out. Now I'm gonna do this last one here. And then I'm gonna go off camera and finish the rest of these. But I'm sure that you got an idea as to how you roll them out. Flip it and turn it, and you just go slow. Just go easy, make sure you're even. The rolling pin is even, level like this. You don't wanna press too hard on one side. And if they're a little misshapen, that's all right. That's okay. Nobody's looking at you're not trying to make a perfect circle anyway. And so, now the name of the game here is a little bit of speed. You don't want to go too fast when you're doing this, but you do want to keep in mind that these dough balls are going to dry out a little bit, and you don't want that. So, all right, so we'll see you when we're getting ready to cook them, okay? All right, see you in a minute. Alrighty, so I'm getting the pan hot, and so I put a little bit of water in it, and that's a really good sign. When the water goes away or when it starts to fizzle and stuff like that, that's a really good sign that it's hot enough. A couple of things that I didn't mention when I was making the tortillas, and here they are, by the way, all flattened out. And one of the things I didn't mention was the reason why I put in cold butter is because you could use vegetable oil in this, but the problem is that it becomes so liquidy and it's really hard to work with. If you use cold butter, it stays solid through the entire process. Well, at least, I mean, it gets incorporated, but it doesn't make it really sloppy to work with, hard to work with. But anyway, so there's that, and it also has a really good flavor. I forget what the other thing was, but basically that's it. You just gotta go real nice and slow and easy and make sure that dough is real soft. Slowly incorporate the flour into the water. Make sure that, you know, as you go, you're just going for that feel of the dough. And that's what you're looking for. But anyway, we're gonna go ahead and cook this here in just a quick sec. And I'm just, see how the water, whoops, there it is. The water right there is kind of bubbling and fizzling. That means it's a good sign. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put the first tortilla on here and kind of let the air underneath it, let it what we're looking for while we're cooking this here is you're gonna see that it kind of almost goes translucent. as it's cooking. I'm gonna get this in the center here. And that's it. So you can actually, I don't know if the camera's gonna let you see it, but this is kind of a darker color here than up here. And once that starts happening, oh yeah, you can start seeing it now. Once that means that the oil is getting soft and it's gonna start cooking here in a minute. I'm gonna get a spatula while we're talking here. And you kind of want to get all these little puffs to go down to the pan so that they can cook with everything else. And the other thing to keep in mind while you're doing this is you don't want to overcook it. You don't want it to be Charlie Brown, as they say here in South Texas. Because what's happening here is if you make it too, if you overcook it, it makes it too dry and it'll crack on you and all of that, and you don't want that to happen. You want it to be nice and soft and gooey when you bite into it. It's just really, really delicious. And so that sound is a good sound. That means that one side of it's pretty done. And we're gonna flip it over and look at that. See how it's kind of cooked but not brown. That's a good sign. Then you flip it over. The times are going to be different because the size of the tortillas are different and your heating element's going to be different. So you just kind of want to watch for these signs. This is a really good sign. This is a uncooked spot, but what's going to happen is because it was raised on the other side's going to cook it. It's going to cook when it's flipped. Now, a lot of times tortillas will bubble as they cook. This is going to do that too. It just needs to get hot enough, and that moisture needs to push the two sides away from each other. And you can see it kind of bubbling over here. But like I said, you do not want to overcook these. They're really, really delicious when they're soft and moist and all of that. There it is. There's the bubbling. That's a good sign. Again, you don't, oh, and this is a Teflon pan, and you don't want to add any oil to the pan because then it starts to fry the tortilla, and you don't want that either. So just no oil. It won't stick if it's a Teflon pan. So now I'm gonna flip it over. Oh yeah, that's almost perfect. I would say just a little bit longer, but here's the thing. See how you can just, actually I think that's perfect. I'm gonna take it off right now. And just put it on this little plate. We're gonna go to the next one here. Just kind of when you set it down, you're gonna let the air and yeah, so basically that's it. We're gonna kind of go through cooking these, and then I'm gonna let William try it, and he's gonna tell me what he thinks and all of that. I'm gonna probably cook about 3 more of these actually before. See this? That's almost too dry. See how it cracked there? That's almost too dry. But anyway, it would still be good. It would still hold your taco. And you're not really gonna, fold them in half. You're putting food in this, right? It's gonna hold it perfectly just like that, and it does. It keeps that shape. Even when you put food in there, it's gonna hold. You just don't want to overcook it because then it'll crack like that. But that would be perfect for some eggs and bacon or whatever kind of taco you're gonna use. This is perfect for fajitas. It's perfect for any type of meat or anything you're going to use it for. See how it's bubbling there? We're going to flip that bad boy over, and that's almost perfectly cooked. We're going to just give it a few more seconds on the other side. And that's it. And then, so I'm going to actually transfer this over here, and the heat of them on top of each other will actually finish off the cooking process as well. So if you want to let them help, the warmth of each other, do it. And then what you can do is you can always put a little something over it so that it kind of keeps the heat in as well. Oh, you know what I can do? Is I can do that. That's perfect. And then that's it. So in just a few minutes, I'm going to have these all cooked, and then I'm gonna let William try it, and he'll tell us what he thinks. All right. All right, we'll see you in a minute.
So I'm gonna let this take a crust, put this right here. Oh, it's so hot. It smells so good. This one flour, good kind.
What does it taste like? Just like a tortilla, like a good tortilla?
Yes.
Like what's better, Daddy's tortillas or HEB's tortillas?
Daddy's tortillas.
I think you're just being kind.
No, HEB is like the ones.
They're good. They're good.
Good.
Let's give credit where credit's due. They're good.
Yeah, they make their own tacos.
But
this one's better.
Daddy's tortillas are homemade, right?
Yeah.
All right, say goodbye.
Bye-bye.